Well, the Ducks just announced their entertainment schedule for the year, and on one of those is a Veterans Day event. And so today we've got a special guest that is also a veteran, and we're going to get into some Ducks hockey on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome, everydayers. Thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. My name is Kyle Carr. I'm a lifelong Anaheim Ducks fan, and I've spent multiple years covering collegiate sports, including college hockey. But today, as we always do on Locked On, we're talking Anaheim Ducks hockey. And today I'm going to be joined by Adam Broehl, a member of Patriots Hockey in Ontario and fellow veteran like myself, except he was a member of my limo service, the Navy. He's been a Ducks fan for many, many years and is here to talk about the current Ducks. We'll get into some Patriots hockey and some favorite Ducks moments and much more. So welcome in Adam Broehl. How are you doing, Adam?
Good, Kyle. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for joining me. It's nice to have you on here.
No, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Definitely. It's always fun to talk with a fellow veteran plus a Ducks fan. And, what people like to claim is the men's department of the Navy. But, everyone has their quirks.
Exactly. Someone's got to sit around on ship doing nothing. Might as well be us.
That's true.
Speaking of sitting around doing nothing, the offseason this year for Anaheim was promised to be a big, active, moving, lots of big parts coming into the team. What did you think about the offseason so far with Anaheim?
Kind of disappointed in it. I mean, Pat Verbeek made a very big claim of, going to basically open up the checkbooks and do anything and everything that he could to get people here. And it just, even though we did get a couple of key acquisitions, it just seems like we didn't really make that spectacular move that he kind of promised us.
Mm-hmm. It just definitely was not nearly as like groundbreaking as I thought it would be with any of the moves that they brought over. I felt like it was more of a retool than bringing in someone that's actually going to change the face of the franchise.
It almost kind of feels like they're trying to salvage like a playoff run, almost like what the Capitals did. 2 years ago, where the team was starting to die off, and they wanted to bring people in to make it feel better and try to rejuvenate the team. It's kind of what this offseason feels like for the Ducks. I mean, yeah, Chris Kreider is definitely going to be a big help, especially putting him back with Jacob Trouba and getting those guys together. Bringing in Granlund is definitely going to help. But I mean, obviously the Ducks, we were really hoping for like a Mitch Marner type signing, but it didn't happen. So it just seems like they're just kind of salvaging an off season for the big promises that they did give us in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. What are your expectations with the coaching staff so far?
I'm curious to see how it's going to go. I'm kind of hoping that it goes the Florida route, where we have, Florida had that, that wasn't really like a big push in the, the right direction, but getting Quenneville in there, definitely got them definitely in the right direction. But with the talent that we have now compared to what Florida had back then, I'm hoping that he can actually do a bigger push. And I don't necessarily expect the Ducks to make the playoffs, but I hope that they're still in the hunt, towards the end of the season.
Well, I was talking to some people last night after a hockey game, and they were saying the Kings might be worse than the Ducks this year. Do you think that's got some truth to it, or do you think we're still going to be chasing the Kings right now?
For the rivalry, I would love to say that's definitely going to be the case. It does seem like the Kings, they decided to sell off the farm a little bit more than the Ducks did. So we'll see what actually happens. I mean, anything's possible in an 82 game season. I mean, look where the Ducks were last year, and it was just off of goaltending. Who knows where they could be this year? They could make another 20-point bump and, get that playoff spot. or at least being the running on it. And with the Kings, they could have, sold off the farm, and they might fall hard, or they might just stay where they're at. So we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, I'd like to think that the Ducks are going to do better than the Kings, but until it actually happens, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And someone that's been involved with the rivalry for a couple years now, who's still not signed, Mason McTavish. What do you think is going to happen? I myself think he's going to still be a Duck, but there's so many different rumors and stories out there. What are your thoughts with the McTavish deal?
It's kind of like what happened with Gibson over the years, Zegras over the years. Until it actually happens, it's just rumors. Yeah, there seems to be a little bit more fire under the rumors with McTavish than there were Zegras and Gibson, which I hope it doesn't actually go through, because I'd love to see, Mason stick with us, actually get a new coach and see what the coach can do to actually develop him and bring him along and actually turn him into, at least for this team, that, that definitely, second center that we need, because it's going to be kind of hard to, dethrone Leo.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. Well, and it seems like, when they first brought in Joel Quenneville and then they brought Chris Kreider, it felt like they were trying to maybe bring in some people that would be able to boost Trevor Zegras. And then that trade happens. And to me, it just seems like that was like the, not nail in the coffin, but more of like the writing on the page of saying, like, you're the 2C for us. Like, we want you. Like, there's no one else that can really battle for that 2C spot. But there's like these rumblings that feels like he's not being used properly. It just seems like there's more people just trying to dig and put their claws in something than anything else.
Well, I would definitely love to see him solidify that 2C, but I almost think that Granlund at the start of the season is going to be the 2C. They'll probably bring Mason back and keep him on the third line, just kind of give him a little bit more development, a little bit more ice time, where he doesn't have to be the focus of trying to put the team on his shoulders, or at least put that line on his shoulders, and, trying to force something that he's not going to make happen. So it's just kind of, like I said, it's going to depend on how the season goes, especially right now. It's going to depend on how training camp goes. I would love to see him solidified as a 2C, but I think right now we're going to see him as a 3.
Yeah. And someone that we were kind of worried that was going to be in the same boat, but eventually got signed kind of quickly, Lukas Dostal. What are your thoughts on him? Do you think the Ducks made the right choice in solidifying him? Are you worried about him at all? Like, what are your thoughts with him?
I'm a little bit worried about him, only because this is going to be his first full season as the number 1 starter and the only starter. I mean, there's times where he was the number 1 only because Gibson was down on injury. So I'm a little worried about that, to see how his durability is going to last throughout the season. But I mean, you have 2 competent backups, with Husso and Mrazek behind him. I hope they don't go 1A, 1B. I hope they solidify him as the number 1 starting goaltender and let him run and see how it goes. So I have a lot of hope and praise for him. Me being a goaltender myself, I love his style. I love his play. I can't wait to see what he's going to do with that solidified number 1 spot. But like I said, I'm a little worried on the durability, because going from about 40% of the season, now he's going to be playing, 65 to maybe 70% of the season. We're just going to have to see how that durability lasts up.
So if you're the coaching staff right now, how many games are you predicting he's going to play this year?
I'm probably going to say easily 50, maybe 55. I don't foresee more than 55. What is it? I think we had 12 or 13 back-to-backs. So, I mean, that's going to knock those right off of there. Also, it's going to depend on if he gets injured, if he's, playing well or not, because sometimes, goalies get into that slump and you got to switch it up. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? As much as I don't want to see it, Mrazek might have a great training camp and, come out as, the number 1, or it's going to turn into a 1A, 1B type thing.
Yeah. And speaking of training camp, there's some guys that are questionable on where they're going to end up after training camp. What are your thoughts with the prospects like Beckett Seneca? We know Roger McQueen's going to Providence now. What about some of these other prospects? Do you have any expectations going in that any of these guys are going to crack the roster?
I was kind of hoping McQueen might actually be able to pull it out in training camp and maybe at least solidify a spot. He'll definitely get his 9 games in at some point. I don't think they're going to actually keep him as much as I would like to see him. I think out of all of our prospects that we have going on right now, I almost think Seneca's probably a lock to come into the Ducks. Outside of that, it's still kind of up in the air because it almost seems like the roster is almost solidified in the talent that we have there, the veterans coming back. So I think Seneca's probably the only one that I think is going to crack the roster.
Yeah, I'm thinking that as well. Maybe a Stain Solberg appearance up and down throughout the year, but I don't think he's going to be like a solid part of their defense. So definitely some question marks up in the air, and just waiting for preseason to get here. And before we get into the rest of it, we got to take a little break, and we'll come back and discuss kind of how we feel about some nostalgia Ducks history. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you have to save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, making it easier to browse the app for an exciting upcoming MLB game. And I checked out an Angels game recently, and we were right on the first baseline thanks to Game Time. So make sure you check it out. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Locked On NHL. That's LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And we're back here with Adam Broehl, and we're going to get into some favorite Ducks moments and favorite players, all that stuff. So to kick it off, what is your favorite Ducks moment of all time, Adam?
It's got to be the cup. I mean, that's one of my most favorite moments. I wish I could have been at the game. Unfortunately, I was at a bar watching it, but pretty much by myself because in the area I was in, no one cared about hockey at the time or cared about the Ducks. They were more Kings fans. But I just remember sitting there like in the bar by myself, just staring at the TV and watching Ducks, take Game 5 and winning that first Stanley Cup for Southern California, or actually all of California.
Yeah, that was definitely not as many people tuned into Ducks hockey, or let alone hockey in general. I feel like it's changed a lot now. I go to bars in different areas, and throughout the playoffs, every game was on, even though they weren't local teams playing. It just seems like hockey's got a lot more buzz. But the fact that you were out there rooting the Ducks on by yourself, being the lone warrior, that had to be kind of like, man, I wish there was more people here, but also like just such a great moment to watch that victory.
Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely wish there would have been more people there to enjoy it with, but it was also kind of nice because I was there, in basically solidarity, by myself watching it. And, after they won it, like I just kind of sat back and, soaked in the moment. So it was a lot of fun to actually like just kind of be there by myself. But yeah, I do wish that I had other people around as well.
Well, my second question here, because I had a feeling that was going to be answer, is your favorite Ducks moment other than the Stanley Cup. Is there any other event that stuck out that you remember being at the game or where you were at watching it?
One of my other favorite moments is I can't remember the exact year because I was still in high school. So it was late 90s. I can't remember the actual date, but I remember the Ducks were down to the Kings in Anaheim at the Pond, because I will always forever call it the Pond.
Mm-hmm.
And they were down what was it, 4-1, And we were sitting there, and my mom was with me, and we're watching the game, and she's like, "Oh, we should probably leave early. The Ducks are going to lose this game." And I said, "No, it's not over until it's over." And I remember the Ducks actually came back and tied up the game 5-5 to go into overtime, and then they ended up beating the Kings in overtime 6-5. And I just thought that was one of the greatest comebacks ever. I mean, I know everyone always highlights the comeback on Catella, but to me, like, just watching the Ducks come back and beat the Kings, especially down by 3, and tie it up, seconds to go, and then win, is one of the probably greatest games I've ever seen live.
That's awesome, and it's always great when you're there too. And I follow the motto: don't leave until the final buzzer, because you never know what's going to happen. Hockey's a quick, fast-paced game, and 5 minutes can completely change the outcome of a game. So you were smart to stay. Although it is a pretty rough time getting out of the parking lot at the Honda Center. At least it was. We'll see how things go with this new garage.
Oh yeah. I went to the Veterans Day game last year, and it was a nightmare. Like,
It's better to park off property.
I should have, but I was being honored as the hero of the game.
Nice.
And I remember it's like they gave us the parking, and we had us in a certain area. And yeah, it was just so bad with all that construction going on. I can't wait until it is all done.
I'm intrigued how things are going to be this year, because they're doing renovations on the actual Honda Center itself as well. And I don't know how quickly they expect that to be done. So it's going to be very eye-opening walking in there in September.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've got to be working 24 hours a day every week right now, just because they're gonna have to have it open in mid-September, I think, is when our first preseason game is there.
Yeah, it looks like some of them are kind of out of town, like they're playing in Bakersfield. I think they're gonna play out in Ontario. A couple of the preseasons are like elsewhere, so maybe I think they have a couple in Honda though, so they need to get their what's in gear.
Yeah.
Now, looking at, since you called it the pond, obviously you've been around for quite a while as a Ducks fan. Who would you say is your favorite Anaheim Duck that has donned either the Mighty Duck or the Webbed D?
Well, the funny thing is I got turned on to hockey through the Mighty Ducks movie, the original one. Honestly, like, I thought hockey was great at the time. I wanted to be more a part of it, being in, the Inland Empire of Southern California, San Bernardino, all those areas. It wasn't around very often there. But when the second movie came out, obviously it came out with the start of the Mighty Ducks, the hockey team, is when I started to pay more attention to it. And that's when I wanted to get into hockey. So I always joke around and I say I've been a fan since day zero, because I say the movie was day zero. But I mean, we're 35 or 30 plus years of Ducks history. It's hard to pick one. I mean, I absolutely loved Steve Ruchin as a center, our talk with the Royally Quacked podcast. And, I love defensemen like, Ruslan Soleil. It's just, the Russian menace. He was, an awesome player. I mean, Kjer is one of my all-time favorite, Ducks goaltenders, as well as, Ziggy and Jonas Hiller's equipment was always my favorite. I mean, Teemu Solani, Paul Correa, Bobby Ryan Getzlaf. I mean, it's hard just to pick one person, as an all-time great. But if I was forced to, going outside of my goaltender roots, I would probably have to say, Teemu is probably my all-time favorite, just because he was great on and off the ice.
Still is.
Yeah. Yeah, unless he's acting in a movie, then it's a little questionable.
Yeah, probably shouldn't quit his day job of being an ambassador of hockey and just keep Hollywood in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a terrible movie. It's kind of one of those instant classics. But yeah, just maybe not act.
Definitely an interesting choice of career moves, or I don't know how he got talked into that, but yeah. It was fun to watch. It was definitely funny. So now looking at this roster and kind of how things went with having Bob Murray as the GM to now Pat Verbeek. Obviously, Murray kind of shotgunned the team, and there's a lot of great players that he got rid of, and things have been shaken out. Who would you bring back to the team that is currently still playing in the NHL? Is there anyone that you would love to have back in Anaheim?
Zegras.
Zegras?
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
right
I
off
would
the
love
hop.
to. Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to bring him back. In reality, it'd be kind of hard to pick who would be the third line center, who would be the fourth line center. But I would actually bring him back, put him as a center, as his natural position, and see what he can actually do with the other
Mhm.
talent around him, and just let him do his thing. I mean, he was working on his defense, he was getting better about it. He's definitely got to work on his face-off skills, but other than that, I mean, he had so much potential that I was looking forward to, and then now he's gone. So I mean, I wish they would bring him back. I mean, outside of that, maybe bring back Drysdale and see what he could have done with, next to Truba, or, I mean, he was doing great when he was, the couple of games that he had with Gudis next to him. So I mean, like the younger core is definitely the guys I would have bring back, and it's definitely like Zegras and Drysdale.
Mhm. It was a very interesting choice because, like I said, I thought they were bringing in people to really support him and be like a supporting cast and really bring out the best of Zegras. And yeah, it seemed like he did everything he was asked under Cronin, and they just kind of said, "Nope, sorry, like you're out of here."
Yeah, because I mean, the other thing that bugged me about it too is like, they forced Zegras to be on the wing, and he's never been on the wing before. But yet, you take Ryan Strome and throw him in the center, but he had the experience playing in the NHL as a winger as well. So you could have kept him with Vetrano and Strome, but put Zegras in the middle, and then have Strome support him on the wing. That they had the recipe there, but they just didn't want to see it.
Yeah, it seemed like there was some control issues that just wasn't working out, and eventually did see him out, but it was not Verbeek's guy is pretty much what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, it wasn't, because I mean, I wish he would have been, because I would have loved to seen what he could have done. I feel bad because I mean, him going to the Flyers, it's not looking
Yeah.
very good that they're probably gonna, overuse him there. And I think it's a bad move for his career.
Well, it's even kind of coming into McTavish. I'm like, I look at these other teams that are quote unquote shopping him or interested in him, and it's like, does he really want to risk like all this development, all this like work that they've been putting into creating a good Anaheim team to go to someone like Montreal or Detroit, where that's kind of the same question marks and you really don't know the culture? It's like, I just don't see someone trying to leave when things are finally getting built and put in the right direction.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I mean, honestly, even Gibson going to Detroit, that one was a little shocking because I thought he wanted to be on a little bit more of a contender team, because Detroit's kind of lying in the weeds right now. Like, they look great some days, they look bad some days, just like, any other team, but they're kind of like close to that mid to low range on the playoff push. So I was surprised that he actually went to Detroit, because I figured he might have like tried to go to like Jersey and, maybe get a little bit closer to home. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, right now I don't necessarily see McTavish going to another team and then having that push of becoming a better player, because it's going to be another situation where they'll put him on a third or fourth line. They're not going to give him as much time. They're not going to give him the opportunity. So I think hopefully they get him re-signed and at least extended until he becomes an RFA, and then, or a
Yeah.
UFA.
Yeah.
And see the potential that he can bring to the team.
It would be nice. It would be nice. Well, moving on, we're going to take a little break and then we're going to dive into the real reason we brought you here, and that's to talk about Patriots hockey.
Sounds good.
And we are back. Adam, you are part of the Patriots hockey program. Can you tell me how you got involved with that and just what even is Patriots hockey?
Patriots Hockey is a 501c3 charitable organization helping veterans through the sport of ice hockey. Patriots Hockey was established in 2011 in San Diego by our founder, Marv. He basically got a bunch of military guys down there because he's actually still currently in the Navy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's the one that started it. He's the one that got the original team going. I think it was 2015, 2016 is when we actually became a 501c3 and then started pushing forward on that. But for me, my involvement is I actually joined Patriots Hockey in 2021. Coming out of the pandemic is when they started up the team or they had a team in Ontario that I was able to join. But I found out about Patriots Hockey surprisingly through the Ontario Reign. I was at a Reign game. They were promoting it. I saw what was going on. I actually went to a charity game that they had before the Reign game, saw it, fell in love with it, couldn't wait to get back on the ice and doing it that way. And I've been with Patriots Hockey since 21. I started in Riverside with our team that was there, left that team, took over our team that we started in LA in 2023 when we started the LA team, and I've been the captain of that team ever since.
Nice. And do you guys play any special like events at any of the NHL games or like Reign games, or is it like any kind of affiliation that way?
Yes, we do charity games still. We've done a couple of charity games in LA at the Staples Center. I know everyone calls it something else now. We've done charity games there before. We do charity games every year in Ontario with the Reign. They always support us. They always bring us in, let us do the charity games. We do their teddy bear toss game every year. We'll have our charity game beforehand. Then we'll come in. We'll have a booth selling merchandise and promoting the Patriots at the game. And then when the teddy bears get tossed on the ice, we usually have a group of Patriots actually out on the ice picking up the teddy bears as well. So we've done that. We've done there's other things like there's a beer fest that they have in Norco or Corona, California, that's called Amber Waves of Grain every year. We do that. That's a charitable. Well, I mean, we're there having a booth as well, promoting Patriots Hockey while everyone else is, walking around drinking and having fun. So there's a lot of things we've done. We've done charity games with our San Diego chapters at the Gulls Arena down there at Pechanga. We have guys, because right now we currently have teams in San Diego, Ontario, Los Angeles here in California. Then we have teams in Colorado, Idaho, and Minnesota as well. So we're kind of branched out everywhere right now, and we're slowly expanding. Kind of moving along as we go. But yeah, we've done charity games, we've done charity events. There's all kinds of things that we've done on and off the ice.
Awesome. And what kind of experience have you seen having a kind of veteran dedicated program like Patriots Hockey do for fellow veterans, mental health wise, physical health? Like, what are the good that has come out of this program?
A lot of the good that's come out of this program is what I like to say is the saves. Like, we're both veterans. We know the community. We know the stigma, the whole 22 a day, which we all know as a veteran that number is way higher because they don't accumulate other stats into that. So that's what our biggest thing we're trying to counteract is that, we want those saves. We want people to have a safe space to come into, and essentially when they come into the hockey team, they come in for their league games. They have that space where they can be around their brothers and sisters that have been through the same similar situations, even depending on the generations that have been there. Because like my team in LA, we have a guy that's 24 and we have a guy in his 60s and everyone in between. So we're kind of all over the place in generations, times of service. So that's what we focus on is, making sure that we don't lose another veteran. We want to get rid of that stigma. We want to promote, the mental health aspect. We want people to go get the help that they seek. And if they are feeling like they want to get into that dark space, they have a family there to, support them through it and make sure that they keep on going.
That's wonderful. Cause I always say, I feel like hockey was something that really like took over my life after the Marine Corps, because like the similarities of being in a platoon, in a squad bay, being out on deployment, being stuck with a group of people, like you just create a certain sense of humor and kind of checking each other at the door. And then you come to a hockey locker room and it's almost the exact same vibe. Even guys that aren't veterans, it's like there's just that camaraderie of like, you're going to go out and battle with each other in the next 60 minutes, and it's like you're going to do everything to help each other out and be part of that team, and that just goes back to that roots of being a veteran.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely brought art, or I can only say for my team in LA because I focus on that team, but like we're one big family. Like we have guys that have gone out and had surgeries, and we come together and we put a meal train together, and we'll get them, we'll buy them dinner, or we'll cook them dinner and send it to them, or we can even donate cash to them to help them through their times. And you know I can officially say that at least with my team, just in the the 2 years that we've been together, we've had 2 saves, and one of them, he was sitting there checking off the boxes, like he was getting rid of his stuff, he was making his plans, like, and then we intervened, and essentially we called a wellness check on him, and but he's still here. It's been almost 2 years since that's happened. We have another guy that was a similar situation. He just that was his thought. He's like, well, if I take myself out, then I don't have to deal with my problems, and it'll just be easier. And we were able to keep him going too. So that's our biggest thing, is having that military camaraderie that we can come together. Like we all have the dark humor as veterans, so
Yes.
we have it in our team chats, the jokes going back and forth at each other. People think that we're crazy because we've had games where we've literally lost the game in a bad way, and unfortunately, fisticuffs has happened.
Mm-hmm.
But we're out in the parking lot having a good time, and people like come up to us like, oh, did you win your game? It's like, no, we lost. And they're like, what? Like, what do you mean you lost? Like, you guys are happy. It's like, we're here for the therapy of the game. It's fun being competitive, it's nice to win, but at the end of the day, if we don't give you that space to shut down the outside world for that hour and a half, then what's the point of being here?
Absolutely. It's a great community, and it sounds like you guys are doing great things. That's awesome. 2 saves is two that, it's just two that aren't a statistic right now, and that's really so important. And I know you mentioned on Royally Quack you guys have a golf event. Is there anything else coming up? Like, can you give me the dates, and where can people find the Patriots Hockey?
Patriots Hockey is on all forms of social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think we even have a TikTok. It's all usually Patriots Hockey. It's I think it's just one word on Instagram. I think Twitter's the weird one where it's Patriots_hockey. But yeah, you can do a Google search of Patriots Hockey and find us easily. But yes, we do have it's our 4th annual charity golf tournament for the Patriots coming up September 21st. And that's going to be in Temecula at Cross Creek Country Club, which you can find the links to that on our socials as well.
Awesome. So yeah, September 21st, go play some golf with some vets that love to play hockey. Thank you for joining me, Adam. It was really great having you on. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, but we'll have to get you on again and do a 2.0.
No, anytime, Kyle. I appreciate you having me on here. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, if you want me again, just let me know. I'll be back.
Absolutely. And to all the listeners, thank you for making Locked On your first listen of the day. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NHL podcast on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you go like and subscribe to this YouTube and the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Once again, I'm Kyle Carr. You be good out there.